Welcome to Kappa TV, where faith and public safety connect. I'm Reverend Lance McCune. Today we're talking about the language of collaboration and why communication matters so much when building partnership between faith-based organizations, law enforcement, emergency management, and government leadership. Because many partnerships do not fail because people do not care. They fail because people misunderstand each other. They speak different languages. What do I mean by that? Faith leaders and government leaders often approach situations from very different worlds. A pastor may say, "We're led by the Spirit." An emergency manager may say, "We follow protocol." The truth is, both are right. But without understanding what this means, both can walk away frustrated. Now, let's be honest. Walking into a government meeting for the first time can feel like entering a foreign country. Suddenly, everyone is speaking in acronyms. What do I mean by that? The EOC, the ICS, the OEM, the PIO. At some point, you are beginning to wonder if you're entering a briefing or a crossword puzzle contest. The truth is, for the record, EOC does not mean everyone's out cold. It means Emergency Operations Center. And the ICS is not a new Bible study app. It stands for Incident Command System, the framework where government uses to organize emergency response. If faith leaders are going to participate in mayors, faith-based cabinets, community policing efforts, or emergency management meetings, then learning some of that language matters. Not because you're giving up your identity, but because understanding the room helps you to serve more effectively. You don't have to become a government expert, but learning the basics builds credibility, clarity, as well as trust. Now, government leaders have some learning to do also, because sometimes when pastors say, "We're praying for you," they do not understand what that means. They're wondering if this is a political statement. They might look at it as just handed down as some religious term. But here's the truth. Faith leaders communicate through relationship, encouragement, compassion, and trust. This is not a weakness. This is one of their greatest strengths, and they communicate that way. So, how do we make this work? We meet in the middle. Faith leaders learn enough to understand structure. Government leaders learn enough to understand relationships. And both sides learn how to communicate respectfully with one another. Government leaders need to understand when faith leaders say, "We're praying for you," that is not political language. It is a sincere way of saying, "We support you." And faith leaders need to understand when emergency managers say, "We need to involve the PIO," they are not forming a secret society. They simply mean the public information officer. This becomes especially important during crises. Disasters, public unrest, emergency response, and press conferences also. These are moments where everybody needs to understand the language because words matter. Faith-based organizations may sometimes need to adjust how they communicate publicly. This is not a compromise. This is wisdom. The message remains the same. You are simply learning how to communicate effectively inside different environments. This is one of the strengths of neutral authority. It allows you to grow in developing your language. It creates a framework where different groups can work together without losing who they are. Government brings structure, coordination, and strategy. Faith-based organizations bring relationship, compassion, trust, and vision. Both speak their own language. When communication improves, partnership strengthens. And when partnerships strengthen, communities become safer and more resilient. This is the truth. So let me leave you with a few practical thoughts. Use shared language. Talk about collaboration, partnership, resilience, and safety. These are all terms people can connect with. Define important terms early. Never assume everyone in the room understands the same vocabulary. And additionally, practice active listening, not just speaking. Listening builds trust. And I guess the last thing I'd like to share with you is don't rely on statistics alone. Stories matter. Stories help people connect emotionally to the mission of building safe and resilient communities. Here's the bottom line: clarity builds trust, miscommunication builds suspicion. And if we are going to build safe and resilient communities, then faith leaders, government leaders must learn how to communicate effectively with one another, not to dilute the mission, but to strengthen the partnership. Speaking the same language helps do that. So, whether you speak the language of scripture or the language of government, remember this: understanding builds unity. Unity builds resilient communities. This is Reverend Lance McCune for Clergy and Police TV, where public safety and the community come together. God bless you.